First off, I want to apologize. I know you guys were probably wondering what happened to me. I kind of disappeared and I didn't post an update last weekend because I was really I actually deleted YouTube off my phone. I really was starting to feel very disillusioned. Hi, I'm in a house. How cool is this? But no, I haven't moved into a house. Just kidding. This is actually an Airbnb that my son and I are staying at, or have been staying at. We're checking out today, but I've been here for 4 days in Melbourne with my boy. And he's about to fly off on his big overseas trip. So I just wanted to spend some quality time with him. And it's been really amazing. Like, there's a bath, the bedrooms are upstairs, lounge room, kitchen, living room downstairs. And there was a bath, and I brought some Epsom salts, and I got to have an actual hot soak in the tub, which was absolutely magical. It's just been really nice. Like, I got to cook him a big lamb roast dinner in an oven. What a treat. It was delicious, by the way. And I got to put the dishes afterwards in the dishwasher. What a luxury. And you know what the best thing about being in a house is? So exciting. When you turn on the tap, hot water just comes out. Just like lift the tap and hot water comes out. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy with this little place because I was looking at staying at the hotel up the road at like a Novotel. It was about the same price per night, but you know, hotels are so sterile, you just don't feel like you're at home, whereas this place, it literally has felt like home. Even got the coolest book collection. Actually, this book I was reading, I've read most of it. It's called The 4 Agreements, because I didn't get to finish it. I'm going to buy a copy of that book so I can keep it in my little collection of life meaning books. But I got so much out of that book. It was amazing. There's been a lot of thinking going on in this last week. And I will go into more detail about that when I get back home. But for now, it's time to cook my boy up some breakfast before we go and pack up and leave this beautiful place. But it really truly has been a sense of home. I don't normally feel at home in other people's places, but because we had the whole place to ourselves, it's got plants everywhere, and the decor is very funky, cool, retro kind of vibes, but with all the modern amenities. And it's just, yeah, it was kind of really what I needed, just a little bit of a break away from the caravan. And I'm just talking a little bit quietly at the moment because my son went to State of Origin last night with his dad, so I'm letting him have a bit of a sleep in. We don't have to be out of here till 11, and it's not even 9:30 yet, so I'll get all my stuff packed up. If I can leave it to the last minute for him, let him have a sleep in, and then cook him up a feast, and then give him the big squeezy hug goodbye. And he said he's going to be gone for a few months, so it's not like a huge time. It's probably been about that long since I last caught up with him anyway, so. But I've just really enjoyed it. It's been nice. It was nice to have that safe space for him to come and relax in, and being able to cook him up food and make sure he's rested and not pushing himself too hard. So I love him so much. Yeah, I'll be saying goodbye to this place and also to my boy, so a little bit emotional. But anyway, I'm going to stop this now before I cry.
What do you reckon, Pixie? Want to go outside for a walkies?
Well, here I am back in my caravan. I must admit, when I first walked in the door, the tears started flowing, and I felt not because I'm sad to be back in my caravan, but I was just sad to say goodbye to my boy, and I'm going to really miss him. It's been really nice being able to catch up with him, and we had just such a nice time, and I just really enjoyed the whole, you know, being mum, cooking dinner and looking after your boy, and, you know, hanging out his washing and just trying to help him while he did all the running around and moving all his stuff. It was a lot for him to do, and I could see he was exhausted. I did feel really emotional because I think it's the having a sense of purpose. Like, and also just being able to provide that kind of home environment is one thing I do. It's probably one of the downsides about living in a van. I mean, the upside is that I can move my home to either one of my children wherever they are and be close by them, which is nice. But sometimes I wish I had a home that they could come to as well. Yeah, I don't know, it's just one of those things as a mum that just makes you feel good, doesn't it? It's yeah, I really love my kids, and I think they're awesome humans, and I really enjoy their company. I owed you guys an explanation. Sorry, I'm gonna fluff this because I am feeling anxious. I'm just gonna get a fiddly. Yeah. Deep breaths, Lisa, you can do this. Yeah, you know what I'd said about how I was struggling with some of the comments, and it's easy for people to say just ignore them, or they're just jealous, or you know, those kind of comments. I know all that, rationally speaking. Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying, and I'm trying not to let it get to me, but it does, because it does. And at the end of the day, I really wanted to make one thing really clear about my channel. Even though I use the word van life because I live in a van, and a lot of it is travel and adventure and road trips and the ups and downs, this isn't a van life channel. It never was. If you go back to the beginning, and I know most of you that came on board, a lot of you came on board because of my road tripping adventures and seeing the countryside, and probably haven't gone back to some of my earlier videos to see the journey that I have been on. And it has been a journey. So I've just celebrated my 7-year caravan anniversary, which was the 13th of June 2019 is when I picked this caravan up and moved into it. And I would have never ever conceived on that day that this would be me 7 years later. Wow. The fact that I live in a caravan, the fact that I do go from place to place because I've been looking for somewhere to be, isn't meant to be like a tourist brochure type van life channel. If that is the kind of thing you're only interested in, and if you only find me interesting when I'm on the road and traveling, then there are plenty of van lifers in Australia going to beautiful locations all the time, and I follow them and I love watching them, and I must admit I watch them and I'm like, oh, I'll add that place to my list of places I want to go see and do. There are plenty of places I haven't finished my road trip as such, but if you go back to those earlier videos, you would also see that a really large part of the struggle I have faced from being homeless, and I've argued this point with so many people who will keep telling me, you're not homeless, you've got a lovely little home. A home is more than just a roof over your head. A home is a place where you can put your roots down, where you can feel connected, where you feel you have community, where your friends keep in touch because you're just down the road and you can catch up with people, where you can have a regular doctor who you don't have to tell your whole story to over and over again. Like, to me, home is more than this. It's a place. And I had always hoped when I got this caravan that I would have this caravan until I found that place that I could call home. I kept going back to Mullaney because that was the last home I'd had, and that was where I had a house, and that was where I had community, and that was where my doctor was. That was where the good health food shop was. It's a verdant, vibrant, growing area. It's healthy. It has beautiful spring water streams flowing from it. Like, there are a lot of things that I have in my list of boxes to tick for the ideal place that I would want to be. And as I wander around, I find many places and I think, I could live here, I could live here, I could live here. And I look up on real estate and I realize I can't actually afford to live in any of them. And the problem always was this time limits on campgrounds. It is an issue. You know, there used to be a lot more parks that had permanent residents, but they just don't exist anymore, and they don't make as much money out of long-term residents as they do over the tourist market and putting in cabins and things like that. There is obviously a lot of undesirable type people that are in this type of living situation, and a lot of caravan parks put the time limits on it to filter out the people that they don't want to be there, and that other grey nomads write about disdainly in their Wikicamps reviews. You know, oh, it was a nice campground, shame about the permanence. Like, I see that all the time. If there's long-termers there, oftentimes they'll get criticised by tourist traveller types who've got more money. I'm also not like a lot of caravanners, and this is why I don't really relate too much to the caravanning community channels, that I do watch a couple, but they're usually in a really different situation. Like they've got really big fancy caravans that cost like $150,000 to $200,000 for these big caravans with bathrooms in them and showers and running hot water and all the luxury mod cons of a house, towed by some huge big four-wheel drive that's probably $100,000 and something as well. They've got homes, a lot of them, to go back to, a house somewhere, or they sell up their house. A lot of self-funded retirees, they'll sell up their house and they'll hit the road with probably hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting in a bank account somewhere, and you can't compare your situation to them. I don't envy. Envy is not something that's in my wheelhouse. I don't envy anyone their circumstances, and I don't feel sorry for myself because of mine. I love my circumstances now. I do. I really do. I love that I can roam. I love my little place. I think it's super cute. It makes me so happy. But yeah, moving on has been hard for me. And that last time when I got kicked out of Mullaney for no good reason, except that I had complained about some feral children that had been running around banging on my caravan and swearing at me. Like, they were rude, horrible children. They were some homeless people, a family with 7 kids. They were horrible. I complained to the show society that this has been happening, and next day they evicted me. I was like, okay, this is my hometown. This is the nearest thing to home I had. That really did throw me, because I thought, if I don't have Mullaney, where is home? Where is home? Home is a place, and it's not there for me anymore. On the downside, the weather sucked. I really can't tolerate heat. I've never had a very good tolerance for heat. I'm absolutely fine with the cold, which is weird. Like, at the moment here, like a lot of people would be venturing up north, and I had planned to do that, obviously, at some point. But in my travels, one of the places where I was kind of tempted to think about a more long-term option was Guyra, because of the fact that it snows there in the winter. It gets really cold, and that was tempting to me because I used to live in Oregon. Like, I can handle winter. I love snow. I don't know why, but the winter time I thrive. It's a lot easier in winter to just wear more warm clothes when you go out, whereas in summer, even if you've got no clothes on at all, which you can't walk around naked, but even if you're like really skimpily dressed, you can't escape the heat the way you can escape cold by just rugging up. And I love the coats and scarves and gloves and hats and things like. And I always thought I couldn't have that in Australia. I was in the wrong country for that kind of weather. I really felt really at home in Oregon. And then I roll into this place for 2 weeks, and it just ticks so many boxes for me. Like, it's so convenient for me where I'm at the moment. It's 5 minutes to the shops, everything you need, doctors, hospitals, all the things, you know, you normally get in a big city. And busking has been amazing when I do get out. Admittedly, the weather is limiting for that, especially at the moment. It's funny coming back from Melbourne. It was actually nice in Melbourne. It was like 18, 19 degrees when I was down there. And then as I drove, you know, back up into the highlands, it's windy, it's raining, it's like 12 degrees. But I don't mind. When I do if the sun shines, I go out busking. And the people have been so nice, and people have been like wanting to connect with me. And one lady's she's got an art gallery. I'd love to get you involved with the art community. Like, you know, she said it to me a couple of times, and given me her number, and I've just never followed it up because I just was like, I don't know how I'm going to be rolling on. There's no point making connections if you're just going to be rolling on, you know. Met, you know, a lovely girl that was came and hang out with me when I was busking one time, and she's followed me on Instagram, and we've been messaging each other, and she's like, when are you going to play next? You know, like, people have been genuinely friendly and really nice. And the managers here were so lovely. And then the caravan park got sold. And I thought to myself, uh-oh, here we go. Because the managers had said, you know, when I'd said to them, look, this is how I put it to them. Like, I really like it here. And I've been on the road for like nearly 7 years at that point. And I would really love to stay a little while longer. Like, I'm thinking, like, I was planning on doing the Nullarbor and WA in March. But if I did want to sort of just, like, I thought, you don't have to do it this year, Lisa. You don't have to do it this year. Like, it's like Uluru. I remember when I wanted to do Uluru, it was just before COVID happened, and I was booked in and everything. And then, you know, COVID started happening and borders were closing. And I remember saying to my friend, you know, I want to go to Uluru. It's on my bucket list. And she looked at me and she said, Lisa, the rock has been there for millions of years. It'll still be there another year. And I was like, you know what, you're right. Like, I don't have to do it all. I've got a lifetime. I'm 57 years old. There are people out there who are in their 80s traveling around Australia. I don't have to do it all right now. That opportunity will always be there for me. But the opportunity to stay still has never been an option until I rolled in here. And when I said it to her, I said, look, this is where I'm at. I said, I'm only asking this, putting it out there as a possibility, because knowing me, I'm likely to just bolt at a moment's notice because the spirit moves me and I want to be out there and I want to go on the road. But if it were an option, would it be available to me? And when they agreed to that, it was sort of, wow, this is the first time in 7 years I've had that. And then, yeah, and then it sold, and the new managers came in, and I was kind of like, oh God, is this going to change everything? The new managers are so lovely and so sweet and so on the ball. And one thing I've been really thankful for with this place, and I'm hoping this will continue, is the fact that they're very strict about who stays here. And there's no dodgy people at all. Like, everyone's really nice. So, and there's only a limited amount of long-term sites available. And it just so happened that when I rolled in for 2 weeks, the site that they put me on had formerly been a long-term site that somebody had left. So they have offered me this opportunity, and I was like, if I did the trip that I was going to do to Nullarbor, WA, if I do that, say, next March, would that be a possibility? And they had agreed to that. So, and the new owners are just continuing on whatever agreements had been made. So I have a possibility to sit still. And I know that doesn't make my life quite as exciting for you, the viewer, as it is for me. This is actually really exciting for me to think about things that I've missed out on, that you know, that I would really like to get more involved in. Like last night when I was in the little Airbnb in Melbourne, and Sebastian went off and watched the State of Origin with his dad, and I sat there and I was like, I love rock and roll and rockabilly dancing. I'm really, that's my, you know, that's been my thing. Like classic cars, vintage caravans, rockabilly music. Like I love that. I love dressing up in my pretty dresses and wearing my petticoats and going dancing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder if there's any rock and roll classes or gatherings, you know. And I looked it up and found that there's one like just down the road, like, and they meet twice a week, once or twice a week, I think it is. Anyway, I've contacted them and I thought, I could get back into dancing. There's a rock climbing club. There's community things, and I've been isolating myself. I haven't been interacting. I haven't been, apart from very sort of superficial when I go busking. I don't know anyone here. I don't have any people I hang out with or friends. I haven't made an effort to do that because my whole life has been temporary everywhere I've been. Definitely for the last 7 years. 7 years. So happy anniversary, baby. Got you on my mind. I always sing that to myself on our anniversary dates. It's a pretty special day. So yeah, I hope that's okay with you guys. My other alternative was just to stop doing YouTube completely. And that's kind of like the last few videos where I've seen like less views and subscribers dropping off, and I'm, you know, being told that I'm not interesting. Sorry, you know, but like I said, you know, like I appreciate those of you and who do interact with me. I've also realized that this is a virtual thing and that it probably would be good for me and my mental health to actually make an effort to interact and create some kind of community. Yeah, I would like to have real life healthy relationships and communication with people, and I'm so thankful that there's so many of you. Not so many, I mean like 6,500 subscribers, and there's probably about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 of you that we have gone beyond just this, and who we're getting to the emailing each other and sometimes talking on the phone, and that's just, that I love it. I love it when I get to connect with people that I don't think I would have ever probably crossed paths with if it not for this medium of YouTube, and for that I'm so extremely thankful. And I'm thankful that some of you do relate to what it's like to just go through challenges in life of all different kinds, and find me relatable. I'm just, yeah, I am emotional. Sometimes I'm really, really happy, and I show it. And sometimes I get frustrated and I show it. And sometimes I'm just sad and down and feeling traumatized, and I show it. And I think that the one thing that being Lisa Nobody via this channel enabled me to be was my authentic, genuine self, my unfiltered, not putting on a show for anyone's benefit. If I'm not feeling like it, I don't have to post, and I'm being really mindful of not being sucked into the pressures of trying to, you know, make the algorithm like me more, and using clickbaity titles, and I mean, if I use a clickbaity title, I actually do it as a bit of a joke. Like, I think it's funny sometimes. Like, I really wanted to call my last video My Boring Life. I could do this one, My Boring Life. My life is a bit boring at the moment for probably entertainment value, but I'm still an interesting human being, and I do have interesting viewpoints, I think. And when I express myself and then you guys express yourselves in the comments and I get to read that, like it really does make me feel less alone. And I really love that. And I don't want to give it up. I don't want to give it up because people make me feel like I don't deserve to be here. You know, for me to feel empowered enough to say, hey, this is me and I have a right to take up space. That's a real challenge. You know, that's a real challenge. People say to me quite often, they tell me that I'm brave. You know, I am brave. I am brave. And I am bravely telling you that I do struggle with putting myself out there. I do struggle with wondering if me being who I am in all the facets of myself. I mean, I remember when I was about 18 or 19 in a diary, I described myself as an opal, which is why I love Lightning Ridge so much. Because it's multifaceted with lots of different colors in it. It's not just one. You're not going to get just one monotonely, this is the way I always am. I'm not pretending. I'm not putting on a show. I'm just being myself. Like, and if that seems unusual to you, then I'm sorry, but I am in touch with me through lots of in-depth analysis, lots of reading of psychology, spirituality, and philosophy books, and I'm a work in progress. Here's a funny thing. Speaking of works in progress, I thought about this because I had to unpack bags to get when I came back from Melbourne. This little, can you see that? It's my makeup bag. I bought this makeup bag on my very first trip down Route 66. I was in a little gift shop and I just loved it because it said she was a work in progress, and it's got the little pin-uppy kind of 50s pin-up thing, which I kind of like. I have spent a lifetime healing, and I will continue to spend the rest of my lifetime healing, learning, and growing. And that is what this channel is about. And if that kind of thing interests you, and I can share with you the things that I am learning about and thinking about and philosophizing about, if I can share those with you, and if you're interested in that, come along for the ride, continue to stick with me. I'd love to have you guys on board. I really would. I've actually been really stoked to see that Bob Wells from Cheap RV Living, and I've spoken about him before because he's been a big influence obviously on a lot of us who live on wheels. He's actually got another channel that he recently started. I don't know, it's probably been a while now, but he had just started it when I tuned in, and it's called The Examined Life. And he's delving into, at the moment, he's just started telling his backstory and how he came to be where he is and the things, and he's really done the work too. You know, he has worked. Most of us who chose this life, or this life chose us really, a lot of us end up like this because we've got some pretty big issues. You know, we had some pretty big issues and things that made normal life just not an option. And so to see him sharing his wisdom, and he's really big on philosophy and the Stoics and Carl Jung and all the same things as me. Like, he's literally like brother from another mother type of thing. Actually, I bought a book that he had recommended recently. Actually, it's a really big book, so it's going to take me a while. Epicureans were different from the Stoics. Marcus Aurelius, Stoics. I've got Carl Jung. I also got Wild Food Plants of Australia, because, you know, plants are medicine. I've got so many books and insights that I gain from those that I really would like to share with you guys sometimes too. And just, if we could create a really safe little community, can we do that? Can you do that with me? Can we have a safe little community where if I'm not off on an adventure and it's just me, I still want you to be my friend. I still want to be your friend. And like, I know what I'm doing right now is a fairly one-way type of situation, but if, I've said this before, if there's anyone that feels like they want to connect with me and want me to be a friend for them as well, like, I'm always happy to do that, you know, within the capacity of my own ability and availability and emotional strength, I guess is probably a good way to put it. Yeah, I really love my little community here, and yeah, that's it. That's all. Okay, I will try and post more regular updates, and I am actually going on a little adventure of sorts pretty soon. I'm still working it out, so I don't want to say too much about it at the moment, but there is something coming, so I will always post something and keep you guys updated, because I really do appreciate everything that you say and do, and just I am very grateful for so many things, like so many things. I feel really, I'm happy. I feel like I'm in a really good place, and I feel, and not just, you know, location wise, but here as well. I'm in a good place, and I feel very blessed. That's all. All right, love you. Bye.